Excellencies, my dear colleagues and fellow ambassadors, diplomats, my lords, my ladies, right honorable guests, ladies and gentlemen, in short, dear friends of us, dear friends of Turkey. It's a great pleasure for me and for my wife Emel to welcome you to this farewell reception of ours. After an almost 4 years of staying in London, we are leaving this beautiful country and people on Saturday, the 28th of June. These last 4 years of my 35 years of diplomatic career have passed so quickly. Nevertheless, we still remember the day when we arrived in London very vividly. It was the 15th of July 2010, a Thursday, a day when I was born many years ago. How many years is irrelevant, do not ask. I presented the copies of my credentials to the Director of Protocol the following day. Then came our first weekend in London. We visited the Regent's Park and found ourselves immersed in the British way of life and culture quite rapidly. Our first sports activity was rowing at the lake. It was the same weekend that I discovered, not very far from the residence, over the corner on the Harley Street, where Florence Nightingale used to work before she departed from London and then later gave a memorable service to the victims of war in Scutari in Istanbul in the late 19th century. Only 10 days later, Prime Minister David Cameron visited Turkey. Most of my colleagues in Ankara, when they saw me back in such a short time, could not help but say, God, if you bring the Prime Minister in 10 days, who knows what is to be achieved after that? We achieved a lot, dear friends. President Abdullah Gül of the Republic of Turkey has visited the United Kingdom 3 times in the last 4 years. Prime Minister Erdogan visited twice. Foreign Minister Davutoğlu, other ministers visited London on numerous occasions. British dignitaries did not fail to reciprocate these high-level visits. Deputy Prime Minister Nick Clegg, Foreign Secretary William Hague, and many other secretaries and ministers visited Turkey several times, and the Lord Mayors. For the last 4 years, each and every Lord Mayor visited Turkey and contributed to the development of our bilateral trade and commercial relations. I'm most grateful to every one of them. I failed, however, to convince the Mayor of London, Mr. Boris Johnson, to go and visit Turkey and trace back his ancestors in Anatolia. But I'm not discouraged. Rumors say that he may consider making his plans to go to Turkey riding a Boris bike. In fact, I am already in coordination with other very, very good British friends of mine who are also eager to trace back their ancestors in Istanbul and other places in Anatolia, to consider a bike ride from London to Istanbul next year to commemorate the 100th anniversary of Gallipoli. I would be delighted to welcome you all if you wish to join this very dignified project and meet you on a bike somewhere in the outskirts of Istanbul and to symbolically participate in it. As you can see, dear friends, we are not short of projects. Rowing, riding a bicycle, and many other activities have been parts of the pleasure we took from our years in London. I was talking about achievements. In addition to the very successful high-level visits, we have steadily developed business-to-business relations, and we have established an exemplary forum, a Turkish-British forum called Tatlı Dil, which means sweet talk in Turkish, which brings together businessmen, politicians, media, academia, think tanks, and people from arts and culture every year, once in Turkey, once in the United Kingdom, reciprocally. This year, we will organize the 4th Tatlı Dil meeting in Antalya at the end of November. I'm quite confident that Turkish-British relations will never cease to develop thanks to many mechanisms we have in place. At the Turkish residence, in the last 3 years, we have organized 15 sectoral luncheons to explore opportunities of investing in Turkey or enhancing business in Turkey for the British business and finance representatives. In those events, we have focused on energy, infrastructure and PPP, environment and water, automotive, petrochemicals, renewable energy, defense, Istanbul Financial Center, retail, mining, and real estate. All these achievements, dear friends, have been the successful results of our joint efforts. I would certainly like to express my sincere gratitude to all my colleagues at the embassy who have contributed to those organizations, but I would be remiss if I did not express the same to all our British friends and guests and counterparts who made our endeavors perform with significant progress. This is not surprising at all, that we have so many achievements jointly and together, because we have long history of diplomatic relations. It was only last year that we have celebrated the 430th anniversary of the first British ambassador to arrive in Istanbul to be accredited to the Ottoman Court. I, on the other hand, happen to be the 54th Turkish ambassador to be accredited to the Court of St. James's in the last 220 years. These relations of more than 400 years simply justify the level of mutual understanding and respect, as well as mutual support, not only between our governments, but maybe more importantly, between our peoples. During my tenure, I have enjoyed support and understanding of the very distinguished British government, parliament, media, academia, think tanks, and most of all, I have always felt the affection of Her Majesty the Queen to myself, to my family, and to my country. Thank you. It's not finished yet. In the last 4 years, I have been to many parts of the United Kingdom to develop these relations, starting from Northern Ireland, Isle of Man, Scotland, Midlands, every beautiful spot of England, Wales. I have always felt the warm and friendly British sympathy to my country. I have been the first Turkish ambassador ever to officially visit Jersey and Guernsey. I have survived 14 party conferences. In all these instances, I was so glad to observe the committed and determined support of the United Kingdom to Turkey's membership in the European Union. Now, this is very important. Be patient and bear with us. With your support, we will make it one day, and when we do, we want to be in the European Union together with the United Kingdom. So do not leave. Dear guests, this is a valedictory speech by an ambassador. It is the reality of diplomatic life. You are appointed to a country, you do your service, and then the time comes for you to finish your duties and leave. Sometimes my friends ask why I am leaving London. I know why they ask this question. I know what Samuel Johnson in September 1777 was quoted to have said. Why, sir, you find no man at all intellectual who is willing to leave London? No, sir. When a man is tired of London, he is tired of life. For there is in London all that life can afford. My wife and I, we are leaving with our hearts full of the United Kingdom of Great Britain and Northern Ireland. My wife and I, we are leaving parts of our hearts with you here in London. But there is one basic reason why I'm unwillingly leaving London. In addition to rowing and cycling, but among many other British activities, I'm also a fan of football. For the last 4 years, I have been supporting Fulham. As you know, Fulham is relegated this season and will not be in the Premier League next season. Now with this agony, I'm afraid I can't stay anymore. Finally, as most valedictories do, I would like to share with you the lyrics which certainly express my very sincere feelings, affection, and remembrance to an everlasting friendship. Should old acquaintance be forgot and never brought to mind, this doesn't have any political bearing, don't worry. Should old acquaintance be forgot and old lang syne. For old lang syne, my dear, for old lang syne, we'll take a cup of kindness yet for old lang syne. Thank you.